What if surfing could teach you everything about how to live your best life? Our guest today is Catherine, a life coach and multi-talented creative whose entire body of work revolves around nature. From running a branding studio in the climate and sustainability niche, to writing children's books, and from building a homeschooling hub on a permaculture farm, to setting up a retreat center on the island of Madeira. Her path is all about helping us come home to ourselves with and through nature. And in today's episode, she shares with us how much surfing has taught her about life.
If you never get wiped out, you never know where the boundary is.
Lessons on trust, timing, and joy, and how she prepared for it all by learning how to skateboard. Whether or not you've ever stood on a surfboard, you'll find wisdom here today to help you surf the waves of your own life. So yeah, here's to dreams coming true. Welcome to the podcast, Catherine. So if life was a series of waves, which one are you writing right now? What's the biggest topic in your life at the moment?
Okay. Just like you told me once with the wheel of life and that we have multiple areas in life, I think in surfing it's the same. Or the question, I ride multiple waves at the same time. But the biggest one that I'm trying to catch or work on is the career wave at the moment, which is the retreat project. And but it doesn't mean that I don't ride other smaller waves simultaneously or in between. And I feel like they just prepare me for that big goal or that big wave. Yes, so I'm learning to learning to trust in the process of all these little different waves.
So true, because I also sense that when we allow ourselves to follow our hearts and really do the scary things also, and even the things that don't really make sense, but they come up and we just do it, then when we look back, the dots connect and we're like, oh my God, obviously, like this is why I had to do that. Now I get why I'm here, and like why I met this person, why I went to that occasion, why I participated here, whatever, it makes sense looking back. And the small waves that seemed like not important at the time, but you wrote it anyway, and then you're like, oh my God, yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
And
I
so
agree, yeah.
Growing up in Switzerland was not exactly the best turf to learn surfing. So maybe you could share a little bit about how that happened and why. I mean, even living on Madeira doesn't mean automatically that you start surfing, obviously, but you did. So what called
Yes.
you?
Okay, well, that's a really cool question. So, in Switzerland, or since I'm a child, I loved the idea to live on an island in the south with sun and beaches and the surfing lifestyle, and I don't know why. It just always fascinated me. And the closest thing to surfing was snowboarding. So I did snowboard in Switzerland.
Hey, okay.
And it's just Switzerland was too cold for me and too dark in winter. And I think how do you say this word again? um, um, help
Subconsciously?
me out, Chris. Yes. Subconsciously, I knew that one day I will move away. And it all happened very quick and like unplanned. And I moved away from Switzerland to Portugal in October 17, but to Madeira only in 2 years later, in 2019. And Madeira isn't actually a like a gold sand beach type of island. There's a lot of rocks and it's rough, and the surfing also isn't the easiest. So when you start to surf there, it's not like in Bali, like with mellow waves. It can be really rough.
Intense. Mm-hmm.
And yes, also when I arrived, I didn't start immediately because I was busy with family and business and things. So I was 31 when I started surfing, so that's pretty late for surfing, but I just needed to tick it off my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a trial, like a tryout, if I would even like it, because
Mm-hmm.
I had this ideal in my head that it would be also nice and
Wow.
beautiful and cool to do it. Oh yeah, maybe I have to mention that maybe 2 years before I started surfing, I wanted to prepare for surfing, so I started skating.
I thought you had
Um,
already prepared with the
the
snowboarding.
snowboarding, exactly. But no, that's me. I
Yeah.
take many steps towards something bigger. So I started skating. And then when I got comfortable, I felt like, yeah, now I need to start surfing. And I
Mm-hmm.
booked a class. And the first few times, I didn't know if it was for me because it's really tough when you get wiped out, when you fall, when the wave takes you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what kept me is that, first of all, there was this whole new community that I got to know, the people, and they really started to feel like family pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
They were also very supportive because at that time I was going through a separation
Mm-hmm.
with my partner at the time. So it held me in that corner of the
Mm-hmm.
island, just and to maybe distract myself or just be out in the water. And then secondly, which I got to appreciate more and more after the fear of the wipeout and stuff disappeared, was just a pure connection to nature. And I think once you get over the fear of the rough ocean, or you make friends with it, um, yeah, there's this like the calm.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to handle the roughness, you know
Mm-hmm.
how surfing goes a little bit, plus minus, right? But that's when you start to really appreciate just being in the energy of the water and with the wind in your hair and tasting the salt,
Mm-hmm.
all of the little things that you start to notice.
Mm, awesome, awesome. And you were talking about wipeouts, and that is just like you when I first told you that we're opening the School of Life Surfers, and I was asking you about the leaderboard names, and you were like, I have so many analogies between life and surfing. If you want to hear anything, just tell me. So here we are now.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, like the wipeouts, for example, like that is such an analogy for life for me. Like, we get wiped out by life's waves, right? And
Mhm.
and I think that surfing just has a very good analogy for that. Like, how do you keep getting up? Like, what keeps you going, and what is your um,
Yeah.
process there?
Yeah, I like the wipeout analogy because we all know how it feels. And but it makes us more resilient. And the thing with the wipeouts is that literally in surfing, when you take the wave and you are on the lip or you're too late to pull back or to go,
Mhm.
then the wave takes you and pushes you down into the water.
Mm,
But if you never get wiped out, you never know where the boundary is. Like that you have to paddle earlier, or that you have to be more front, right?
mhm,
So the wipeouts are super important to know where to position yourself
mm,
or when to start paddling. And this is kind of the second analogy. Like if you want to take or ride a wave, you need to position yourself in the right spot. And in life
mhm,
too, it's like you have to put yourself in the right places.
mhm,
And the timing is important. When to paddle, the time isn't always.
mhm,
Sometimes you just have to wait for the right time to paddle, right?
mhm. Yes.
And then the last thing to actually catch a wave is commitment.
Mm.
And this is a very big one for me, because when you want to go and like you look over the shoulder and you see the wave coming, but you're not fully committed,
Mm-hmm.
what happens more likely is for you to nosedive, like for the board to be pressed into the
Yeah.
water and like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you are committed, you paddle and you get the speed, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how it works. The wave is usually much quicker than you, but if you speed up to this similar speed,
Mm-hmm.
then the wave will just carry your board with it.
Mm. Oh my
So
God.
if you're committed, you're more likely to catch it
Mm-hmm.
than if you're not committed. Yes, so it's a mental game. It's
Mm-hmm.
a mindset. Like you really need to want to go for it, and
Mm-hmm.
then just don't look back. Just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that is so powerful because I mean, literally that is how it is in life, right?
Mhm.
When you have so in the work we do in our coaching process is like you get an action step and it's a soul aligned action step, and if you're not committed to taking that, you will nosedive, right?
Yes, or the
When
wave will pass.
yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
might be too slow or like nose
Mm-hmm.
diving, but
Yes.
yes.
And when you do take that action step, no matter how um insane it may sound to your brain, but you just take that step, then the wave will carry you and all these synchronicities happen and you're literally carried by life and it's exponential. The things that unfold and appear in your life and the speed at which, things happen is crazy, right?
Mhm.
Wow. I love that. So good. So good. I'm so happy we're having this conversation.
Yes,
Like, sorry, you go.
sorry. I think most people are afraid to speed up
Hmm.
to the level that they need to for them to be carried.
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely. Totally. And I get that when I tune into that situation, like I would be like, you know, and you really, like you say, you need that commitment. And
Mhm.
the other thing that comes up for me in that situation, similar to when you are skiing or snowboarding and you're at the top of the mountain for the first time after, a year, maybe 3 years, maybe five, and you're like, oh my God. Oh, and then and then the same, well, like you see this big wave rolling in, like, and how, but maybe it's the same answer, like how do you face that fear of the size of what's coming on?
So, I'm a person who takes many steps. There are different types of people. Some people like to take risks and go big,
Hmm.
take big steps.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not that person.
Same.
Um, I do have big goals, but I break them down into smaller goals. So I will only go like a tiny bit of a bigger wave, a tiny bit of a bigger wave.
Hmm.
And also, there will be some steps back
Hmm.
um, in life and in surfing and everywhere. And it's also part of the process to feel like, oh no, now I'm riding a smaller wave again. Oh no, my performance is bad. Like
Hmm.
I used to do it better and stuff. Um, but again, I think it's just a mental game again,
Hmm.
and trusting the process. I think trusting
Hmm.
the process is also important, that the steps back will push you to kind of, or like motivate you again. Like,
Hmm.
oh no, man, I
Hmm.
used to do this better. Let's
Hmm.
go for it again. And yeah, I don't think I think everyone has their own mechanisms on how they can face fears. I'm not a believer in pushing too much
Hmm.
when you're not ready, because Okay, I will tell you a little story. That when I started surfing, and also at that time, I wasn't super aware of how strong the ocean can be.
Mm,
And there were a little bit of bigger waves, and I thought, okay, why not try them out, right?
mm.
And they were for not for beginners,
Okay.
those waves. And I got taken down by that big wave and pushed underwater. So I knew I had to hold my breath, right? And the worst thing you can do is to panic. You just
Hmm.
ease into the water, let it do whatever, the washing
Mm,
machine,
mm,
whatever it has to do, and you will float up again eventually, and then you can breathe again. And in that particular experience, before I was able to come up to breathe, the current underneath took me down again. And yes, so again, I just had to ease into it and just like hold my breath longer. And sometimes such experiences must happen for you to know the boundaries
mm,
of yourself and of life, maybe.
mm,
Because it showed me I wasn't ready for this big of a wave.
mm,
And is when I stepped back and took the smaller waves again for a longer time.
mm.
And yeah, but sometimes you just go for it without knowing.
And then sometimes it works. But
Sometimes it works. Yes.
mm, yes, there was several things I want to touch on that was big. So for one, I am totally aligned with taking small steps because like this Fibonacci spiral, like you
Mhm,
take the next big step, the next step seems like just a little bit bigger, but it
mhm,
grows one on the other, right? And so it's like it keeps increasing, but to your system, it doesn't feel radical, right? But
mhm.
in the end, it's huge, and you look back and you're like, wow, what did I do? Right? So that just feels really, really good to my system as well, and very, very stable, very grounded. But I agree, not everybody is meant for that. And for those for whom it's true to take big steps, they will be like their system is made for that and they'll be fine. And if they do like a circle work on this, like a soul circle on that, they will get like big steps, right? And that's perfectly aligned. And the other thing was about like when you do get pulled under, when you're wiped out, that you relax into it, that you don't fight it. And that is so life again, right? Because when the more you resist a situation, no matter how hard, no matter how big, how awful it seems, the more you resist it, the worse it gets, right? But when you relax into it and you just expect that no matter what happens in life, it's rigged for you, it's rigged in your favor, like things are happening for you and through you to make life better, you can relax into it and you're saying, hey, I'm just on my path and everything is good no matter what it seems like on the outside. Like I'm just holding my breath for a little bit, but I'm okay, I'm cool here. I'll be back up. And then you're back up, right? and
Mhm.
and usually, unless there's this draft, usually it happens faster than you expect.
True. Usually it doesn't take so long.
Yes.
But yeah, there's another good analogy that you actually spotted.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really cool. And yeah, so rich. And if there was one take-home message that you would give to the listeners, what would that be?
That's a difficult one because
There's so
one
many.
is there's so many. I mean, I had even written down a few more analogies, but I think this one will be good because um, we are always kind of consumed with life and what's happening and
Mhm,
the waves and the big ones and the small ones and stuff. And we sometimes forget to take pauses.
mhm,
And I was once, um, there is near our beach, there is a little hill, and sometimes I go there just to sit and look down on the beach.
Mhm.
And I was observing a seagull just floating above the water. And I was like, you have it so easy. You don't have to be in the water and struggle against it. You just float above and look down. And I feel like that's what we need to do. Sometimes
Mhm.
just not to be the dolphin in the water, but to be the seagull
Mhm.
just floating above and taking a step back and looking
Mhm.
down
I love that.
to life. Yeah.
Mhm. Ooh, we'll integrate that into our we created a first aid kit for surfers for inside our life surfer group community there, and with several processes. And I feel like, taking that step back, like I do that in my Sunday process, taking that step back and really looking at my life from the meta level, from
Mhm.
above. Like I call it mountaintop
Mhm.
time, but in this case, it would be the seagull time then.
It can also be the mountaintop.
Yeah, but like this feels very feels better, more adequate for the um
Mm. Mhm.
context.
Mhm.
Yeah, wow. I thank you so much. This has been a huge pleasure. Maybe we will have you as a guest again sometime later
Yes,
on, because it feels like there's so much to this, and we could probably talk for hours. And
we could.
I feel there will be more coming up as we start surfing on our life surfer beach.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you.
Thank you also. It was lovely to share.
We hope that this conversation sparked some new insights and perspectives in you, because we definitely found it super inspiring, and we are so happy that Catherine is part of our new Life Servers community on the school platform, where we would love to welcome you on board as well. In the month of October, we will be surfing the topic of energy management, and we'll be addressing questions on how to manage and avoid burnout, how to regenerate, how relationship energies work, the dynamics between people. And if these things call you, I invite you to check out the link in the show notes.